Baruch Ata Asher Ha'anat Melecha Ha'olam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu L'Tatif L'Tzitzit. Good morning, friends. Yes, Abby, I wear socks sometimes. I'm not wearing socks right now. How are you all doing today? It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. So, we can start with the book of Deuteronomy. Moses is in the desert preaching, and this is what he says. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad. Ramagan Studios, I don't speak Arabic, but I would love to see an English translation of that if you have it. And I just realized I need to put some kale in the rice cooker, so I am going to do that momentarily. But I'm still right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just off camera very briefly. And let's get this kale cooked. Okay, here we go. Kale's in the rice cooker. And I'm back. How many humans have I lost? None, actually. In fact, gained an audience. Alright. Good morning to you all. What was on my bed, that black thing? That is a goat hide from a goat that we slaughtered and ate last spring. You're from Arabic and you love Arabic. You mean you're from Iraq? Jordan? Syria? Good morning, Kim. How are you? So, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad, all is one. What are we to do with this? I ask you every day, what are we to do with these 6 words? 6 mysterious words. Well, we repeat them. Good morning, Jolie. How are you? We're just about to do the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et anat Elohecha u'v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odeyecha v'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha היום לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. Yes, indeed, this is a Jewish thing. That prayer was called the V'ahavta, and it is one of the most commonly recited prayers in Judaism. Second, perhaps, only to the Shema, which I said immediately before. They are both direct quotes from the book of Deuteronomy, which is actually a little bit interesting. Most of the traditional Jewish liturgy is not quotes from the Torah. We do read Torah sections, but there are other prayers that gained prominence later, but these are direct quotes from the Torah. And the V'ahavta is informed by the Shema. They're actually the same prayer. The Shema says, "Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. All is one. The serpent eats its tail." And then the V'ahavta is an explanation of what to do with this. It is a genome for a religion, you might say, because the only thing it says to do is to copy it. You shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might, and take to heart these instructions, which I am charging to you today, which I am transmitting through my cell phone into your mind, physically, through vibrations in my vocal tract, triggering vibrations in the speaker of your phone into vibrations in your ear. Physically, these words are being repeated and transferred from me to you. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a symbol upon your hand, and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. And that is why in Jewish households you see these things, mezuzot. They contain, oh gosh, I've ruined the view. They contain this scroll. They contain the Shema inside them. Yo, we got a mod team. I know. It's really great. It's really great. I never thought that this would happen, that like there's actually a community of people trying to share this space with me. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. So that's the V'ahavta. The V'ahavta says, copy me. Do I support Israel? No. No, I don't. I'm glad that there's a place that exists for Jews to go and feel safe, and I am heartbroken that that place exists only at the expense of others. So, that's actually a very appropriate question for this point in the stream, because there's more from the book of Deuteronomy directly right here. So we've said the Shema, listen, all is one. Fair enough. Then we've said the V'ahavta, hey, repeat that all is one. Repeat that all is one. Say it over and over and over again, and maybe one day you will understand it. Amazing stances on foreign politics. I don't think I've told you that much about my stances on foreign politics, but they are informed by this next phrase. This next phrase from the book of Deuteronomy, which was aware 3,000 years ago, or whenever these words were first uttered, something like 3,000 years ago, that the land that they were uttered upon, that they were written upon, is stolen. Do I recognize Palestine? Well, Palestine is a place. I don't recognize states insofar as I can avoid it, right? Like the state of Palestine, the state of Israel, they're just modern contraptions. But here, listen. V'chaya. Ki v'achaya Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nisbai lavotecha levram lischach ol Yaakov. לתת לך עברים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית, ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר לא מילאת, ובורות הצבים אשר לא הסתת, כהרים וזיתים אשר לא נטעת, והלכת ושבת. Hishamer lecha pen tishkach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi eretz Mitzrayim mi bet avadim. And this, remember, this comes immediately after the V'ahavta, immediately when we are told that we should repeat that God is one over and over and over again. Where do we repeat it and why? Well, here's the answer. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Right? So we can think about the mythological context in which this was written and the political context in which this was written. The mythological context is that Moses is wandering through the desert with his people. They have just been freed from Egypt and they are looking for a home, and they have been promised a new home by Yahweh. The political context is that there are some priests in Babylon who are trying to reckon with the fact that they have been exiled. They are refugees in a foreign city. Their city has been destroyed. They witnessed the murder of their peoples, and they're trying to understand that fact, and they are dreaming of returning home to Israel. Or maybe they are in Israel, and it's the Persian Empire that they are now under the auspices of, and they are writing to try to solidify their claim on this land, which they know to be stolen. Right, the book of Joshua describes in vivid detail how the Israelites cross the Jordan River and then kill every person in the city of Jericho. Kill everyone. Genocide. Right? So this book is well aware of the layers of genocide that have happened on this land, and they want you to remember that when you eat from olive groves that you did not plant, or you drink from cisterns that you did not hew, that you are doing so on stolen land. And I've been to Israel. I've been to Palestine. I've seen those cisterns. I've eaten from those olive groves. They were not mine. They were stolen. Right? And we can trace back the historical line and say who stole it from who, and who stole it from who, and who stole it from who. And the bigger reality is that it is a land that has always been occupied. It is a land that has always been occupied by thieves. Colonizers, right? And it doesn't matter if you call the colonizers Israelites or Judeans or Philistines or Babylonians or Persians. It's a story of layers upon layers of trauma. So you ask me, do I support Israel? Do I support Palestine? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. The answer is that I think it is deeply important to understand why it is that there are people living in these places today who hold so much trauma in their bodies. Why it is that there's a giant wall separating one half of a city from another. And why it is that the people suffer because of that. So hopefully that answers your questions about my political views. Yahweh's a scary dude. Yahweh's a scary dude. Jesus loves me, sure, but his dad is an asshole. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. Hail Zeus. I like that one. Zeus is Yahweh, just a different iteration. Baruch atah Asherah, Anat Malecha Ha'olam, Asher Yitzar et Ha'adam, B'chachama U'vara V'or. I repeat the name of Asherah Anat, who made me with many openings and cavities. Here's Asherah. Figurines like this were found all over Israel, Palestine, Jordan. John 3:16. A lot of people like to throw Bible verses at me, and I usually can't recite them because I don't know the lines. But yes, John 3:16, God so loved the world that he gave them his only son. It's a little disturbing when you actually think about it. God says to Abraham, hey, climb up that mountain with your son, sacrifice him on the altar. And at the last minute he says, you know what? Why don't you sacrifice a ram instead? You know. The character of Yahweh is not an easy character. He did not make me a woman, despite the fact that I am. I'm in a little bit of a rush today, so I'm speaking quickly, but hopefully some of you are understanding a little bit of what I'm saying, or appreciating it. You don't need to understand it. I don't know if I understand it. They're just words. They're all just words. So here's a story about the Babylonian exile, metaphoricalized 1,000 years later, 2,000 years later. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom, and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil, and we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh, some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just a man, and we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. Even though I don't understand the meaning of this ritual, I find it so relaxing. Well, that's good. I may not understand the meaning of this ritual either. Like, that's actually how I open, right? We say these words, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Asherah Echad. Listen, Israel, all is one. What does that mean? I don't know what it means, but I know that the next words say, repeat me, and so I repeat them. And every time that I repeat them, I understand perhaps just a tiny bit better what it all means. Yes, there is a tree of life behind me. A phylogenetic tree, Asherah's tree. There was another comment that I wanted to respond to. Right. Baby love, I need to make you a moderator. That's what I have to do right now. Let's add you. Search accounts. BB add. Alright. Need to remove some admin. Alright, let's see. I'll remove. Okay. Wow. I have such a fantastic mod team. Alright. Baby love. Moderators. Add. Baby love. Alright. So my queue is full. I cannot add any more moderators. Which is lovely. And most of you are actually here. Like, I think the capacity is 20. Y'all are doing such a fantastic job. There's 120 people here, and the amount of trolling is extremely minimal. Good morning, my friend.
Hi.
Hi. I'm running late. I need to be out with my students in 20 minutes.
Oh.
But here we are.
Oh. I see you 1.5 times.
You see me 1.5 times?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, because my mirrors are in the thing.
In the one by
Uh-huh.
my left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually came in here looking for Rin for you. So.
Well, they're not here.
Yeah.
It's just me and 160 of my friends.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
They're friends with your image.
They're friends with my image. They're not my friends, but they're...
But they're not your friends.
They're my parasocial friends.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Thanks for being parasocial friends. Parasocial friends.
Yeah. What do I teach? I teach mycology.
Maybe a mod will post a link.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, this is a tallis. This was my grandfather's tallis. I got it after my grandmother died, and it was in her closet for a decade after my grandfather died. And when she died, we cleared out her house, and I inherited my grandfather's talit. And I wear them regularly when I pray, and I feel very lucky to do that. What is mycology? Friends with my image. Yes, Jenny. Jenny from the fishing village. I do know you. Yes, you're friends with my image. I posted a video about this, about parasocial relationships. Like, this is not me. It is me, right? Like, but it's me made of light. Like, I have this physical form. This is my body. But dysphoria makes you feel strange things about your body, and I was disconnected from it from a very long time, and I developed beliefs about who I was, my true self, or what have you, and, like, basically, I decided that it was important to spend my life transmuting myself into light. And I don't mean that in a woo sense. I mean, like, literally every time I do this, my image is recorded and placed on the internet and sent out to you, and part of me becomes you in some tiny sense. And this image will last long after I am done. It's being recorded. It's on the internet. Even though it's live and not saved, I have a recording on my hard drive. It's saved in places, and it will last long after me. Right? So, who am I? I am an image. As far as you are concerned, all I am is an image made of light. And you can be friends with that image. And you will not be friends with my flesh and blood body. You will not know the full complexity of my lived experience. You won't know many of my flaws, because this image is highly curated. But nonetheless, it's me. It's a form of me. And I am so blessed that this form of me can relate to you in the way that it does. So, yes, you are all my parasocial friends. And I'm really happy that you all are here. Why am I wearing a Jewish prayer shawl? That's blasphemy. Why is it blasphemous? Because I'm worshipping Ashra. Let me see that tree thing behind you. Here it is. It's a tree. It's a mushroom. It's an astropole. Just curious, what is my Jewish heritage? Well, my mother was born in Hungary. My grandparents were Holocaust survivors. I have some pretty legitimate Jewish heritage. And so I say these prayers, even though I'm uncomfortable with them, right? Like, I have some pretty serious Jewish heritage. I can't not worship Yahweh, even when I study what he has said, and I find it deeply, deeply disturbing. Profoundly disturbing. The way that Yahweh is tied up with genocide, is the god of genocide, basically. I don't like it, but it is in my history. It's in my genes, right? Like, that trauma affected my grandmother, it affected my mother, it affected me. And so I have to say these words. What was that question? Did I paint it? Yes, I did. It's not paint, it's Sharpie. But yes, I made this image. It's a phylogenetic tree. Phylogenetic tree. There are roosters outside, yes. There are indeed roosters outside. So, now we can move on to some Sanskrit. Sanskrit. There's a video for my hair routine. One of my mods can post it in the chat, maybe. That would be really great. So yesterday, for those of you who didn't necessarily see the memo on Discord, I made a static channel, that words. I made a static channel with a list of videos that respond to common questions. And if you could go into the Discord channel, any one of you lovely mods, and pull out the morning routine video and post it in the chat, that would be great. Or if you're curious, you can just go onto my TikTok channel archive and watch the video yourself. Anyhow, I need to be gone in 20 minutes, so let's do prayers. Let's do prayers. This is called the Shivananda Dhyana Sloka. It's from the Shivananda yoga tradition, and although I am Jewish, that is my heritage, I also grew up spending time in this Hindu monastery, and I was quite influenced by this space, and so I have learned some of their liturgy, and I combine it with the Hebrew and the English, hopefully to bring to you a kind of morning ritual that resonates. That's the hope. Yes, I am a girl. Gajananam Bhutaganati Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshitam Umasutam Sakavinasakaranam Mahamatim Divyam Mayuravahanam Rudasyasunam Surasananatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Sarahara Davala Yasuprabhasvarita Yavina Varanda Manditakara Yasvita Padmasana Yabrahmachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Sajadyapaha Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanchaya Santaya Shishivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnu Devanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadite Saranye Chayambake Gauri Narayani Namostite Narayani Namostite Om Kimmy, the what is hair routine is also called morning routine. It's like the 6th video down on that list that you were just looking at. I do my hair in that video as well as makeup and other things. I think it's sufficient to answer the question. Yeah. Alright. So, Shivananda Dhyana Sloka. Yes, indeed, Shiva, Lord Shiva. Hairy legs for a woman. Do you realize that, like, all women, cis women, trans women, every single one of them have hairy legs unless they shave them? Like, what? What kind of... Okay. I shave my legs sometimes. Any tips on hitting on or dating a trans girl? Well, maybe don't use the term hit on, right? Like, you can flirt with them, but like, why would you want to hit them? Don't do that. Don't do that. Chayambakam yajamai sugandim pushchivardhanam Orva rukami bhavandanan mrityur mukshya mamritato Chayambakam yajamai sugandim pushchivardhanam Orva rukami bhavandanan mrityur Mukshya mamritato Sarvesham svastir bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu nirmamaya sarve bhadrani pashantu makashit tukabhag bhave asatoma sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityur mamritam gamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishate Om Shanti 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 Om Peace Peace Peace. So that is the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. It's a very famous mantra from the Shiva worshipping tradition, of which Shivananda is a part. And we can translate that last verse as Om. This outer world is full. This inner world, also full. From fullness comes fullness. Taking fullness from fullness, fullness remains. The serpent eats its tail. All is one. Yahweh Echad. Thank you, Jenny. You have a day of miracles, too. Gosh, y'all are so good. Y'all are just really good. You make me feel really happy. So, now we're going to conclude with a couple of mantras. This next one is called Arati. Thank you, Allison. So Arati means flame in Sanskrit, and here is the flame that we can see. Little light. Keep us going. Hi from Mississippi, your first time seeing you. Well, welcome here. So Arati means flame, and the refrain for this prayer goes, Jaya Jaya Arati, we wave the light. And we can start with a prayer to Ganesh, right? So Ganesh is not unlike Isaac. Ganesh was set to guard the door, not let any man in to his mother's bathing. Shiva comes in, chops off his head. His mother gets very angry and says, "What have you done? You've just chopped off the head of your firstborn son. Go out and fix it." And so Shiva goes and finds an elephant, takes the elephant's head, places it back on Ganesh, not unlike the way that Abraham replaced a ram with Isaac. And yet the sacrifice still happened. Where did I study Vedanta? I studied at the Shivananda Yoga Ashram in the Catskill Mountains of New York, not far from where I live. Why am I wearing a tallit? Because this is my grandfather's tallit. And I inherited it after his death. You're so sorry that I have dysphoria. I hope you can cure it. Well, I'm working on it. I still get dysphoric from time to time, but for the most part, I'm just very happy to be me in this body. I feel very lucky. So, Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha. We wave the light for Ganesha, one of the many sons that were sacrificed to the eternal Lord. Kind of disturbing, but the stories are there. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha. Jaya Jaya Aratiya Subramanya Kartikeya. Jaya Jaya Aratiya Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Vanita Chora. Jaya Jaya Arati Venkantaramana Sankatarana Sitarama Radhesham. Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara. Jaya Jaya Arati Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti. Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Hanumanta. Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara. Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Bhaskaraya. Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya. Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi. Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Shivananda. Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda. Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Shri Amma Priyaye. Jaya Jaya Arati Ayappa Swamine Dharma Shastave. Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave. Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha. Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala. Natatra Suyabati Natandra Karatam Nema Vidyobati Kutoya Magini Tomeva Bantamabandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samitam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Sidhu Kaveriya. Namastitam Namo Namaha. Jaya Jaya Arati translates as we wave the light. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, stars and lightning. So from where does its light come? When that shines, everything shines after that. By its light, everything else is lit. Remember that we are made of light. Right? Again, this is not woo nonsense. This is not supernaturalism. E = mc² literally says light and matter are interchangeable. You know we are stardust. And I don't mean to say this in an overly saccharine way, but just actually, the metaphysics of our universe tells us that we are all made from light. We come from a universal source, which is the same thing. All of us come from the same place. The tree has one root. We all have a common ancestor, Luca, right? And that living being was made of matter, and that matter was once light. All of the matter in your body was once light. And it will be light again one day, perhaps. We wave the light. Tvameva mata, chapita tvameva, tvameva bandisha saka tvameva, tvameva vidya, javinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva, kayina vacha manasendriyarva, buddhyatmanava prakriti sabhavad, karomi adyad, mangalam parasmahe, narayana iti sarmar payami. Sarva dharmam pravichaya mamikam savarnam vraja aham sva sarva papayo mokshaya mima sucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you so much for being here with me. Good morning, Coven Commune. So Luca. Luca stands for Last Universal Common Ancestor. This is a term that was developed by biologists over the last 50 years or so, as we got more genetic evidence for the true universal nature of all of the living systems around us. Right? So this tree behind me is a representation of Luca in a certain sense, right? It's a representation of the entire tree. But we can go down to the base and we can say, oh yes, there was one ancestor at the root. Here, let me get an image for you that shows it a little bit more technically. Alright, Luca, come here. Alright, so here we have a more technically accurate tree of life. And we can see here that in the center of the tree, right there, that's where Luca lives. Right, Luca gave rise to all the bacteria, all the single-celled eukaryotes, all the fungi, all the plants, all the animals, all descend from this single cell, the last universal common ancestor, which we can palindromize as Luca. Right? And just as all life descends from a single ancestor, it would also be fairly accurate to say that all religion descends from a common ancestor. If you look at all of the mythological traditions in the world, you will find that they bear many certain similarities, and those similarities exist because of common ancestry. I'm turning evolution into a religious experience. Yes, indeed. That's basically the core of it. That's what I do. I'm a biologist, and I think that there are certain principles that biology gives us that can inform us as to why our religions are the way they are, and why we experience the world the way that we experience it. I'm glad that makes sense, baby love. This chat really needs positive energy. This chat has a lot of positive energy in it. I'm thrilled with the way that my moderators are behaving. So, not sure religion is the best word for it. Perhaps not. Perhaps we can have some different word, but I don't actually like the word spirituality. I'm a spiritual person, right? That just sounds to me like you're... I don't know. Like, I'm not a supernaturalist. Like, I don't actually believe in God. I don't think that there's some Yahweh in the sky telling me that I'm a bad person because I take estrogen. That's not the way that it works. If I'm a biologist, you know that I'm a guy, right? And my tits are male too? Okay. I need to go. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I promised my students I would be out there at 11. So we're going to say one more prayer, and then I'm going to sign off. I'm sorry to keep it short today, but it was very good. I was able to We got somewhere. I think we got somewhere important. So, now we will say Kaddish for all of those people who died yesterday of coronavirus, and for all those other sources of death and injustice that have plagued the living since our lineage began, and will continue to plague us until we are all gone, whenever that may be. And for the last 2,500 years, our ancestors have been saying the following words in response to death. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, b'yama divrachute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayed kol beit Yisrael, b'agalau v'zman kari v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mivarach li'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yirmam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, diamiran b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlamar Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yalechol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Thank you all so much for joining me today. On this note, I'm getting many comments, hey, control your mods better. And my mods could be making better decisions at some point, but I think you fundamentally misunderstand our relationship. I cannot control them. They are free people. I've given them authority to act in the stream, and by and large, I think they're acting correctly. Sometimes they're going to make mistakes because the stream comes very fast. Comments come very fast. And sometimes it's difficult to tell if someone is being malicious or not. So as my mods continue to do this work, they will become better discerning, and they will learn better what kinds of behavior I want to see and what kinds of behavior I don't. But in general, I trust them. I think they're doing extremely good work, and I'm very grateful for it. And if you are unhappy with how they are behaving, you can join my Discord server, and you can bring it up there, and we can have a conversation about it. Sometimes it happens by accident, yes, and that's fine. It's fine. Y'all are doing your best, and your best is fantastic. So, I'm gonna go now so that I'm not late for my students, and I will be back here tomorrow to say these words once more, and I hope to see you all then. Okay, farewell. Have a really lovely day.